Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for checking out this video. I hope you're having a fantastic day. As always, shout out to the 19. Hey, Chicago Sky made a recent surprise trade. I think caught a lot of people off guard that I wanted to talk about because some people are scratching their heads. I'm one of them. And the question is, was this a smart move or did they just throw away their future for a lateral swap? And what I mean by that is, as you can see here, trade Ariel Atkins. Chicago Sky got Ariel Atkins in exchange for draft picks. They've got Chicago Sky's 2025 first round pick that is coming up in April. That is the number 3 pick overall. They also got the right to swap the team's 2027 first round draft picks. So no matter how the teams finish, the Mystics are going to get the higher of the 2 picks there. And Chicago gave up its 2027 second round draft pick for Ariel Atkins. Now, Ariel Atkins is a good guard. She's a solid player. But they had Chennedy Carter that they chose to not re-sign, who was one of the most explosive shooting guards in the league. I put her around 2 or 3. I mean, I'm right now playing with Caitlin Clark. I give Kelsey Mitchell the edge. Right now, I think Chennedy Carter is a better shooting guard than, say, Sabrina Nescu, Kelsey Plum. So, I mean, she's right up there. Now, Atkins is also is a solid, good player. I believe 2-time All-Star. Their stats are very, very similar, which I think I have here. If we look, this is just last year. But as you can see, very, very similar stats. You know, Carter's got the edge in some points, rebounds, and assists. Steals and blocks. Atkins has the edge, but they're very similar. Carter's not a three-point shooter. That's the one thing she's not as a shooting guard, but she's a very good two-point shooter. So they've got very similar stats. I mean, if we go to here and we look throughout their career, Atkins has been very solid. Yeah, there it is. Two-time All-Star, like I said, in 21 and 22. She's a very good defensive player. And you can see she's been very consistent throughout since her time in the league in 2018, averaging double figures every year. Right? She's always in that 10 to 15 range or so. And then Carter, very similar. If we look at all the stats too, you know, her time in Los Angeles didn't go great, but other than that, we're talking about 2 seasons over 17, another season at 14, second in Rookie of the Year. She's finished 4th in Most Improved Player last year. I don't know how she wasn't number 1. I think that was an anti-Carter fix was in type of thing going on there. But yeah, so in that respect, it doesn't. I know a lot of people are going to get into the locker room intangible, and I get that, and we'll talk about that. But really, what we're looking at is you had a shooting guard that you could have brought back. I think now, look, the question now is no one. I don't recall seeing anyone ask Chennedy Carter directly, if Chicago gives you an offer, will you go back? But let's assume Chicago didn't have to let her go. If you're swapping one solid shooting guard for another, all you've done really then is just give up all these draft picks for nothing. And again, I said we can talk about Carter's reputation. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying there weren't issues. Although when you do more of a deep dive, and I think Ben Daniel did an episode, video a while back about Gabby Williams, and I think one of the issues with Carter on the one team was Gabby Williams. So is it all Carter? I'm not so sure. And I've been critical of her based on some behavior. But from everything else I've seen, I'm not sure it's something that should keep her out of the league. I mean, the cost is the number 3 pick in 2025. This could be a future star. Even in a draft, some people say, isn't that deep? Well, it doesn't have to be that deep when you have the number 3 pick. This guy basically traded a lottery ticket for a player they already had in Chennedy Carter. And for those who have never seen this, just as a reminder, Chennedy Carter, she dropped 34 points on the U.S. national team while playing for Texas A&M. This is about 50 seconds. I just want to kind of roll through this. You're going to see a spot, if we catch it, where she you'll see Sue Bird in here. But yeah, that is the actual, this isn't a U19 national team. This is the national team. playing Texas A&M. There it is. Wait, no, that's not it. And Chennedy Carter dropped 34 points. Here it is. Well, bye, Sue Bird. And let me look at you just to make sure, and then I'm going to drain this shot. And then we have, and she's got hops too. Yeah, she's a short guard, but she gets up far higher. She has a more explosive vertical than 95% of the players in the league, and can probably outleap players 6-7 inches taller than her. Nice smooth shot. But yeah, 34 points, folks. 34 points against the U.S. national team while at Texas A&M, which is kind of wild. So we also have the sneak, right? There's the sneaky bad move there. If the Sky struggle, their 2027 first rounder is something they could use even more, that could be more valuable, but the Mystics now have the option to take the better pick. So the Mystics are winners either way. It's like giving your friend the option to trade your Christmas gift 3 years from now, even if you get stuck with socks and they're getting the newest PlayStation. Look, everything about the Sky seemed like a rebuild. I mean, looking at their roster, it's a solid team, and now it seems for sure that they're trying to win now, but I don't know that they have enough pieces to contend. So I'm not sure if they're rebuilding, if they're competing. It seems like they've put themselves in the middle. They're not rebuilding, but they're not contending for a title, which makes this not make sense to me. It seems like they're doing a little bit of both, right? A little bit of rebuilding, a little bit of, hey, we're going to be good, but not really enough of either. Look, hey, man, I have nothing against Ariel Atkins. Let's be clear, it's just about the trade. If it's a good situation for her, yeah, I hope she goes and balls out and proves everybody wrong, or people like me wrong. But the trade just, and this is not an Ariel Atkins thing. This is what the Chicago Sky did. So it's no shade on Ariel Atkins, but it's like, why did you make this trade? It's like you're paying extra for the same meal you already have in your fridge. Eat the meal in your fridge. Meanwhile, the Mystics, they're like, wow, I can't believe we got all this. Y'all could have just kept Chennedy Carter. Now, that's a whole nother video of why the Mystics did this. They're obviously, seems to me, tanking, or I guess the nicer word, right, is rebuilding. So so it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out for these two teams. But on the surface, I look at this and I'm like, they gave up these draft picks for a player they already had. Their number 3 pick gone. And again, they were going to, look, we never know for sure with draft picks, right? But most likely at number 3, you're going to get someone that's going to help. Maybe they thought, well, it's not a franchise changer. It's not a franchise player. It's just a potentially good player. So they thought it was worth it. But then you throw in 2027 second round, 2027 first round. I shouldn't say you're not giving that up completely, obviously, because it's a swap, but you're giving up the better of the two. But anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. I appreciate you checking out this video. As always, go have yourself an awesome, awesome day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out tremendously, and I will talk to you later.